Why are 90% of your sales calls hung up on after just a few sentences? Have you ever watched customers walk away without understanding why the deal collapsed? Do you realize that outdated sales thinking is killing your career day by day? Wake up. The latest data exposes a harsh truth. What you're doing no longer works. These aren't just typical tricks, but a scientifically proven formula to skyrocket your sales to the next level. Get ready for a psychological shock as you uncover 13 extremely brutal sales techniques that can immediately turn your career around. Now, let's dive straight into the core with the 13 sales techniques dominating the market today. Technique 1. Break the habit at the very beginning of the conversation. The typical "Hi, I'm" intro is outdated. Customers hear that line too often, and their brains immediately classify you as a salesperson. Before you can build anything, they've already put up a wall. This has nothing to do with your product or solution. The issue lies in your opening. Don't be another clone in the crowd. You need to break that familiar pattern with authenticity and emotional connection from the first second. A question like, "Have you noticed any market changes recently?" is far more effective. If you approach it by building a connection, customers will open up. They no longer see you as a seller, but as someone who gets it. That wins you the next chance, the chance to earn trust. Replace your intro with a warm question or an observational comment. Show you've done your homework and aren't just here to dump info. This small shift brings big impact. Write 3 fresh opening lines today and practice until they're as natural as breathing. After a good opening, you need to be clear about why you're calling. Technique 2. State your reason for calling immediately. Customers don't have time to guess your intentions. If your opening is vague, they become wary. Every unclear call gets mentally labeled spam. What you need is absolute clarity, as early as possible. Don't wait halfway through the call to explain. State your purpose right after your intro. For example, "I'm calling to share a new trend that could help your marketing team boost efficiency." This shows you bring value, respect their time, and have a clear direction, all key to keeping them listening. If you don't clearly present your reason, customers lose patience. Everything you say becomes suspect, and your shot at trust crumbles early. But if you're transparent, they'll sigh in relief. This person knows what they're doing. Practice 3 different opening reason versions tailored to specific industries. Once your reason is clear, you can smoothly move into the next phase, sharing insightful views on their industry problems, transforming you from a seller into a trusted expert. Technique 3. Share an overview of the issues you're observing. Customers don't need you to describe the product right away. They need to know you truly understand them. When you proactively share the challenges their industry is facing, or could be facing, you instantly build empathy. That makes customers feel, this person isn't here to sell, they're here to support. Say naturally, "I'm noticing a lot of businesses in your sector are struggling with optimizing X." A well-timed, well-contextualized comment makes them feel you're an insider, not an outsider knocking on the door. If you skip this step, you'll fall into the trap of selling like you're preaching. Customers will interrupt or go cold. You'll notice the signs: short replies, checking the time, or changing the topic. No one wants info from someone who doesn't get their context. And at that point, no matter how great your product is, you won't get the chance to show it. On the flip side, if you hit a nerve in their industry pain, you immediately unlock trust. Prepare 3 to 5 common issues by industry group. Include data where possible to boost credibility. Practice presenting each issue in 30 seconds, clearly and straight to the point. A follow-up question like, "Does this reflect your current situation?" will transition you to the listening phase, where you invite the customer into a real conversation telling their own story. Technique 4. Encourage the customer to tell their story. After showing you understand their industry, it's the customer's turn to speak. This isn't a break in the call. It's the most important part to uncover real needs. When customers tell their story, they're not just giving info, they're sharing trust. You learn what's troubling them and what motivates them to act. Don't interrupt. Don't fix. Listen with focus. A question like, How does that affect your day-to-day operations opens the door to deeper understanding. If you don't invite storytelling, you'll only get short, cold, emotionless answers. But if you prompt properly, customers will speak honestly, and a lot. As they talk, they better see their own issues, and they'll clear the way for you to offer a solution. Take notes as they speak, and repeat their key points in their own words. Then lead to the next step, clearly identifying the value of solving the issue, not just emotionally, but with specific numbers. Technique 5. Understand the value of solving the problem. Not every customer immediately sees the consequences of leaving a problem unsolved. Sometimes they've gotten used to just okay, and that delays action. Your role is to clarify the price of inaction and the value of resolution. But don't be vague. Quantify with costs, time, or lost revenue. For example, just the monthly delay in X could cost your business Y million. When customers see it hitting their wallet, they start paying attention. If you don't quantify the value, they'll see the talk as just a nice idea. They'll note it, but won't act. But if you show the actual losses, they'll want to change. Emotion gets attention, but logic, through numbers, drives decisions. You don't need fancy math. Just ask, what would you estimate the loss to be if this persists for 3 more months? That's enough to trigger action awareness. Prepare a set of quantification questions by problem type. Attach specific numbers to each scenario. Find industry data or past client examples. Practice the art of turning emotion into financial impact. That's high-level sales. When the customer sees that the solution brings more than it costs, they'll take the next step. And that's when you help them go further, link the solution to their personal goals. Technique 6. Make the problem personal. Customers don't just make decisions for company benefit. They decide because of personal pressure, expectations from higher-ups, or the desire to prove themselves. If you only speak of organizational gain, you miss the strongest driver, personal emotion. A department head will decide faster when they believe your solution helps ease KPI pressure, make their leadership mark, or help the team hit quarterly targets. When you tie the solution to their dreams, burdens, or personal goals, you're selling what they truly need. Don't hesitate to ask if this solution works. What would change for you personally in your current role, or what personal goal are you pursuing this year that I might help with? These questions unlock a different depth, where you're no longer just a vendor, but a strategic ally. Once you've tied the solution to their personal drivers, you can comfortably approach a topic many fear: budget. Technique 7. Talk about budget. Budget is always a sensitive topic, not because customers lack money, but because they fear an early sales pitch. If you bring it up too soon, you're seen as pushing price over value. But delay too long, and you lose transparency. The best time is after proving value, financially and personally. Speak like a consultant. Based on what we've discussed, I think it's reasonable to talk about a suitable investment. When budget is addressed at the right moment, you open a space for collaboration, not pressure. Don't present a rigid price. Offer flexible options. For example, typically the investment falls in the A-B range, but I prefer to tailor based on your actual needs and goals. When you frame it as flexible, customers become more open and reveal the budget they're considering. Note that number and set a clear next appointment. And for that step to go smoothly, you need to understand exactly who makes the decision and how. Technique 8. Understand the decision-making process. Every company has its own decision mechanism. The end user might not be the approver, and the one approving budget may differ from the person responsible for implementation. If you don't know who the final decision maker is or what info they need, you'll present to the wrong person, wasting all your effort. You might have great rapport with someone who has no power. Result, you get, send me more info so I can show my boss, then radio silence. The solution is simple. Ask directly, but tactfully. For example, typically, who needs to be involved in approving solutions like this, or is there anyone else whose input you'd need before a final decision? These questions don't just give you the decision map, they also show professionalism. Record every stakeholder and their role. Prep materials that match each one's needs. When you know who, when, and how, you'll always be a step ahead. Technique 9. Ensure there is a clear and scheduled next step. No matter how great a conversation goes, it fails without a specific next step. I'll send over the info, and you get back to me as the formula for delays. Customers are busy. They won't follow up unless you remind or clearly define what's next. Every ending without a next meeting is a loss of control. Remember, a deal is only alive when it's moving. A pause means it's dying. You can't let that happen. Simple fix end with a clear call to action. I suggest we schedule a short follow-up this Thursday to review the key points and fine-tune to your expectations. Scheduling right away maintains momentum and increases commitment. Don't leave things vague. When the next step is set, customers take the conversation more seriously. And with that momentum, you'll transition easily into presenting your solution, concisely and to the point. Technique 10. Only present solutions that address the customer's issues. Many salespeople fall into the trap of feature dumping. They present everything the solution can do, hoping something sticks. But that's poor strategy. Customers don't have time to filter through information. They need you to filter it for them. If you ramble, they'll think, "This isn't designed for me." You don't need to say a lot, just say what matters. That's how to create focus and the feeling that this solution was tailored for me. Before presenting, review the problems the customer mentioned. Then say, "I'll focus on 2 key points that directly address your concerns." This shows you listen, understand, and respect their time. Prepare short examples for each point. After each, ask, "Does this match what you're looking for?" to maintain engagement. Then deliver your pitch in under 60 seconds. Technique 11. Keep your pitch under 60 seconds. In an age of information overload, the customer's attention is a precious asset. Long presentations cause distraction and dilute your message. Studies show the first 60 seconds determine if the customer stays interested. If you miss the mark, they'll turn to emails, messages, or hang up. Lengthy doesn't mean persuasive. Top salespeople speak briefly, but make the customer nod and ask for more. The solution is to craft a sharp solution intro. Say you're facing problem X, and my solution tackles it with Y and Z. Then stop. Let them respond. This interaction keeps the momentum and makes it a dialogue, not a lecture. Practice condensing into 60 seconds. Time yourself and focus on 2 to 3 core ideas. Brevity is proof of clarity and customer understanding. Technique 12. Use feedback loops to maintain engagement. A great sales conversation can't just be you talking and the customer listening. Long silence doesn't mean agreement. It's a danger sign of lost connection. A feedback loop is how you maintain consistent responses, ensuring the customer is listening, understanding, and actively involved. Small questions like, "How does that sound to you?" or "Am I on the right track?" help check engagement without disrupting flow. It's a powerful way to sustain emotional flow and attention. If you don't check the customer's reaction often, you won't know if they agree, care, or are zoning out. They might be politely silent, but really waiting for you to stop. When you ask the right questions at the right time, you help them feel heard, involved, and that builds trust. Prepare 5 feedback loop questions for each conversation stage. Once connection is solid, you're ready for the final step, systematizing your entire sales process. Technique 13. Repeat your sales process systematically. Top salespeople don't rely on luck. They rely on process. When you have a clear system, from opening, identifying issues, presenting solutions to scheduling next steps, you don't need to reinvent every day. Instead, you optimize each step through repetition. The process is your silent coach that helps you improve non-stop. If you fail today, you'll know why. If you succeed, you'll know how to repeat. Without process, it's all instinct. And instinct isn't sustainable. Standardize all 12 techniques into a checklist. After each call, assess how many steps you executed correctly. Every repetition is an improvement. Persistence in process makes you a high-efficiency machine, consistent, professional, and trustworthy. Remember, don't hope to close more if you haven't mastered the small steps. Starting today, commit to build, practice, and repeat. You don't need something new. You need to do the right things, consistently and systematically. Conclusion: it's time to wake up. The sales strategies I just revealed may overthrow everything you once believed. I know, you might fiercely disagree, even claim they're too harsh or unrealistic. But look at reality. If you're still slowly dying with terrible results, then this is your final warning. Either you change or you disappear from the game. 30. The naked truth is very few people are brave enough to face and embrace such harsh change. That's exactly why only a small elite dominates success in sales. They know that if you don't dare to swim against the current, don't fully apply these methods, you'll forever be left behind, watching others rake in billions. But if you dare to defy the majority, step out of your comfort zone, your own empire is waiting to be built. Do you have the courage to rewrite your sales story? Comment now to prove it. Thank you for watching the whole video. Please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos.